a monopoly still rely on IPPs, Mr. Speaker, why would Kenya Power not invest in production of power, Mr. Speaker? These are the questions that we have been asking ourselves. Why do we have to use IPPs? Can't we do away with them altogether? Mr. Speaker, another area relating to production of this power is we have traveled to some countries, Mr. Speaker, and you find that they have uninterrupted supply of power. Most of these countries, if you ask, Mr. Speaker, you'll be told it is because they use nuclear power. And that is why their power supply is never interrupted. Mr. Speaker, perhaps it's time we also started asking ourselves through the committee, and I'm happy that Senator Matinga is still in the House, what prevents us from, Mr. Speaker, generating nuclear power? Is it not an option that we can consider depending on the high need for power supply that we have, Mr. Speaker? Why, Mr. Speaker, the other thing that we should be asking ourselves is why Kenya Power continues to be a monopoly. Because, Mr. Speaker, some of us have had an opportunity to apply to be connected to power. One very interesting thing is that sometimes it's like it's consumers or would-be consumers persuading Kenya Power to connect them. Mr. Speaker, if they were going to operate as people or as a company that would even make some profit, they should be pursuing new connections. It should not be the other way around, Mr. Speaker, that sometimes people even look for connection, people even look for some influence to be connected to Kenya Power. So that connectivity, Mr. Speaker, again is low. Is it not time? And I would want to challenge the committee on energy to maybe look into the possibility also of maybe licensing, perhaps licensing another power company, so that, Mr. Speaker, you know, when there is competition, Mr. Speaker, efficiency is sure. So I think I want to challenge the committee to look into whether there is a possibility of having another company or other companies, not just one, so that, Mr. Speaker, there can be competition, so that we can also afford our people a variety, Mr. Speaker, because they say variety is the spice of life. So that if I don't feel like if I feel like being connected to power by another company, then I have a choice. Why must we continue protecting or doing or giving support to a monopoly, Mr. Speaker, that is not efficient? Kenya Power must convince this country that that it should continue being a monopoly, Mr. Speaker, through efficiency. Let us see top-level efficiency. And so when that happens, then we can be convinced that they should continue being monopolies. But I don't think, Mr. Speaker, that we should allow any particular service provider, especially of an important service like power, Mr. Speaker, continuing being a monopoly. Mr. Speaker,